Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. On today's episode, we have two fantastic guest interviews for you. First up, a Playboy model slash ring card girl slash most valuable productions. That's Jake Paul's organization. She's a media personality there as well as an interviewer. And now she makes her professional boxing debut at Misfits Boxing on August 10th. That is Miss Amber Fields. She's up first, followed by a very interesting interview with Mr. Sabah Homasi, the sleek sheik, formerly of Bellator fame. He's got a very weird financial issue that's going on with Bellator. You don't want to miss it. We're following up on a story that was broken by Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour. I saw it on his Instagram, so we brought him in here to see if there's been any resolution to that. Let's kick it off. I can't wait for this episode. I hope you enjoy it. Follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. Tell your friends this is the best MMA podcast they are not listening to already. Tell them about it. Let's get on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Insight Podcast.
Rain, I have no intro today. You know how I always pride myself on my intros. The reason I don't have an intro today for this guest is because I thought I was speaking to a bot. In all reality, there's no way I thought that we would ever have this guest on our show. I didn't think that I was actually speaking to the real person, but we do. So she's here now. We're going to have her in. She is a ring card girl turned boxer about to fight her very first fight. She works with MVP, Jake Paul's promotion, Most Valuable Promotions. She's a interviewer. She does some great skits, some great introductions, and some great interviews that you can see all over the place. When you see her here on the screen, you will know who she is if you've watched anything recently in combat sports. Rain, I am so excited to have her in. I hope that I can think of some questions on the fly. Rain, bring her in.
Please welcome Amber Fields.
Hi, everybody.
What's going on, Amber? How are you?
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you so much for having me.
Amber, I'm not kidding. I thought I was speaking to a bot the whole time. I'm like, is this actually Amber Fields? Like, this is really you? And then you gave me a wrong number for a second. And I'm like, this number seems to go towards like somewhere in Europe. And I'm like, I don't think this is right. But you are really, truly the Amber Fields.
Yes, it's me. I'm real, baby.
Love it.
I think it was like one digit wrong. And I was like, why am I not getting your messages? And things have been crazy lately anyway. So it's been like kind of hard to communicate, you know, but I'm so happy to be here and I'm happy to finally meet you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Amber. I'm so excited to meet you because your story is very inspiring. Like you have so much going on about you, but for the people that don't know who Amber Fields is, who is Amber Fields?
So I'm just a small town girl, you know, ring girl, model, boxer. I have a lot of different titles, a lot of different names. So, you know, I'm just like whatever, you know, it depends who's asking.
You're an interviewer. You're an internet personality, right? You're doing amazing things with MVP. Tell us, how did you get started with MVP? Because you were out there this past weekend at the Jake Paul fight, which was insanity. And how did you get involved with them?
Yeah, so like I just kind of started from the bottom. They just started their promotion back in 2020 and I just reached out, was like, hey, you know, like I'm the queen of Tampa, like let me host you. You need anything at all, just let me know. And then the owner, Nikisa, was like, hey, I'm actually going to be in town. Do you know a few good places? And then I hosted him and was just showing him around town and you know, just getting connected. And then he was just like, oh, like hire models for me. I have a modeling agency that I own. At the time, it was non-existent, but I still kind of made the connection that way. And then throughout the years, I was just doing miscellaneous stuff for MVP, like hiring models, doing photo shoots, helping out with merch, promotion. And then I did a little bit of interviews, like more like on an internship level, not getting paid or anything. And it was really bad looking back at those interviews, but we've come a long way. And then my boss, Mitch, who's in charge of social media and a lot of other things in MVP, was like, hey, I think you would be perfect for this role. And I was just like, look at Nina Drama and what she does for UFC. And I was just like, we could do something similar. Like, she used to be in Playboy, and she's more of that sexier side, but she gets the views, and she's very entertaining. And they
Right.
love the idea. We did a test run in Puerto Rico. It went very well. We had a bunch of viral moments. So they're like, just run our TikTok for us. So that's kind of what I do now. And they're like, can you come on full time? And I'm like, I really can't right now. But like, as soon as this fight's over, like, you got me. But they've just been so supportive through this whole thing, you know, because I'm fighting for essentially their competition, which it's like a whole different level of things. But everybody's been super supportive. It's honestly made me a better interviewer. So
Yeah.
you know, it's been really cool to connect with the fighters on that level because, you know, just being a girl is like, oh, I'm interviewing you, but now it's like, oh, I had my match. Like, actually, like, I'm going through some of the same things you're going through.
Yeah.
And it does make that connection a little bit stronger. So, and I get to see their training and ask them about their training, and they help me get direction to give me good advice. So, I feel like being surrounded by these people is making me a better boxer and a better interviewer.
Yeah, for sure. Look, the only way to do it is to go all in, right? Like, you
Mhm.
fake it till you make it. You go in there, you just believe that you belong, and great things happen. But I will say, like, you do a great job. Like, some of the interviews that you've been doing and the content you've been putting out, your comparison to Nina Drama, I can see it, right? I get what you're saying. But yeah, you've got the funny side to you. You've got the personality. You don't seem like you're shy. So
Yeah,
that's great.
absolutely not. Yeah, and most of this, of course, I don't want to copy Nina and do exactly
Yeah.
the same things that she does. So I try to come up with things that are trending or haven't been done in the boxing world specifically. Like, we just put out the content today that was like, who's your phone screensaver? Which I haven't seen it done in the fighting community yet. So it's really fun for me to make. It was cool to see, you know, the who's on their screensaver. You know, you can always tell who has family and kids because usually most boxers are very family oriented. I
Yeah.
feel like they love their family, and so it was really cute to see. And some of them had their girlfriends, some of them had their flag that they represented. Of course, Jake Paul had his new company, W, but he did show me later on. He's like, normally it's Kobe or his girlfriend Yuta, and I was like, that's so cute.
Nice, nice. Yeah, yeah, of course. No, I think yeah, all those things are great that you're doing, but now so you're a ring girl, or you were doing that as one of your many things that you do, and then you transition now and you're competing for Misfits Boxing, which is blowing up the scene as well, right? Because Misfits Boxing, everybody knows from the recent Paige Van Zandt versus Elle Brook fight, the promotion is good. Like, they're moving things along. And here you are, you're on the upcoming card on August the 10th. And I'm going to put the picture up here. Here you are making your debut against
Woo-hoo.
Leah Gotti, August 10th. Do not miss it. It's in Miami, Florida, in your backyard.
Yeah,
How the heck,
exactly.
how the heck does this come about?
Well, I've been training for a year. You know, like you said, I was a ring girl before and just
Yeah.
wanted to get in this different space. And girls like Elle and Ebony Bridges, who paved the way for us, gave me just insight on how to go this way and like a path. You know, this is the path. And because without them, really, I wouldn't have even known that this would have been possible. And yeah, Misfit is kind of that bridge between these influencers or streamers to boxers, and we're getting those younger generation of fans
Yeah.
into boxing and also creating new opponents for these professional fighters because some of them you know, they're really great, they're undefeated like Paige Van Zandt or other fighters, and we're creating those matches that get those views that the promotions want. So
Right.
you know, and now Elle, look at Elle, she's a bunch of pro fighters want her now. Like, everybody's like, I want Elle, I want Elle,
Yeah.
and it's like because she's getting those views, and that's, you know, it's really
Yeah.
amazing. Talking to her a little bit, you know, she trains every single day, 3 times a day. She's very dedicated, and you know, she has the potential to go all the way to the top for sure. So
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, okay, here's the thing though, Amber. I've trained with a bunch of people. I see different people when they go to fight and when they get into it, right? The one thing that's going to make you have success or not, aside from coming on the Fight Insight podcast, because that people that come on the Fight Insight podcast, Amber, they have a very high win percentage.
Usually
I'll tell you that.
win.
Yeah, like it's a very, very high percentage. But Amber, do you have a killer instinct?
Absolutely. I was born with this fire in my heart for sure. I've always been I'm not a fighter because I'm a lover, but I've always had that fiery killer instinct in me.
Yeah. Okay.
So just
Hold on. I'm going to cut that out. I'm not really going to cut it because I don't have the editing skills, but I don't want to hear that you're a lover. only killer instinct, Amber. Like this, when you see this face, when you see that face of Leah Gotti, your eyes should be turning red, steam coming out of your ears. It's game time. It's go time. Do you understand? Like seriously, you're going to be Amber the Killing Fields.
Oh
You know
for
what
sure.
you know what I mean?
Amber the animal, baby.
Yeah. Like so do you have it in you though? Like when you get there and she is not blocking and she's a little bit wobbled, are you going to go in there with that devastating finishing blow?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's all about your stamina, and I got it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And how's your training going? I know that you're training at Lights Out Boxing and Franklin Boxing Gym, I believe, the two places you're training out of. Yeah. How's it going? Are they getting you ready? They're taking it serious? Because I don't want to have to call up those gyms and get mad at them either. Like, this shit is real.
No, absolutely. My coach, I think, is one of the best, in my personal opinion. You know, his style is very cutthroat, very, more like the Cuban style boxing. He's got a mix, but just lots of movement. And just like you said, just go at it, killer, nonstop. Don't stop, keep moving. They are taking this very seriously. And we're training two, sometimes 3 times a day leading up to this, or like two gym days and one running, or two gym times and one running. So I'm always constantly, training for this, preparing for this fight. So it's crunch time now. So
yeah, seriously, because like what I think is incredible about Elle Brooke is that she is knocking chicks out. Like she knocked Paige Van Zandt to the ground, right? She's actually performing well. And when you say that professional fighters want to fight her, they're not just fighting her because she's getting numbers and because she's going to get views. And they're definitely not picking her because they think she's an easy fight. They're picking her because she's actually proving herself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like she's putting herself out there and she's doing well. And you can tell that she's training because like she is fighting for real, like legit. After you get through with Leah Gotti, what happens after that?
We're gonna work our way up to the top ranks of Misfits. Nice. You know, Nikki Hrue has the belt right now for the lightweight, so she's definitely on my list. But I'm just gonna take them out one by one.
Nice,
Ooh,
nice. And what was something that you've learned from being around all the boxers and the fighters, especially this past weekend? What is something that you took away from it all? Like, what is something that you've been able to adapt or put into your own training?
Yeah, just like patience. Don't be so eager. You know, a lot of times when I'm in there, I'm just like a little bit too eager to get those punches in. But after seeing some of the fights this weekend, especially like defending myself, go in whenever she's punching, like don't just block, like go in at that point, you know, because as we saw with H2O, you know, that's how he got the knockout. So that's what I'm planning to do.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, like that's another great point, right? The fight is never over. That dude was losing every single second of that fight. Canadian dude that knocked out that guy. He trains with some of our friends, Rain, that we've had on the show. But I mean, he was losing every second of that fight, never gave up, and then delivers like knockout of the century. That was crazy. Like face plant, really bad face plant. Knockout. It was beautiful. But Amber, you've been training, like I saw it on your Instagram, and I should put that up there for your Instagram. For people that don't follow Amber Fields, who doesn't follow Amber Fields? But you are at Miss Amber Fields down there on the bottom. If you're only listening on audio, it's at Miss Amber Fields. Go follow her. I did see a video of your training that was from a year ago. It was like from August 2023. And it was like, I just started a month in training. How different are you now compared to that video?
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Like just looking back at that, I'm just like, wow, I thought I could fight then. It was just so bad. My technique was so bad. Now it's just a complete 180, honestly. So
Nice, nice. Good. I'm glad that you're taking it serious. I'm glad that you're kicking butt, right? And that I can't wait to watch this fight. Now, Misfits Boxing, very interesting, like the organization and everything like that. But to get into Misfits Boxing, you had to be someone of some sort of stature. Like you had to have some sort of following, right? That's how this gets in there. People have a problem. I think Mike Bisping today was. Did you guys look and see Mike Bisping? Now we're recording this like a week prior to this video coming out. But anyways, Mike Bisping was trashing a lot on like influencer boxing and influencer fights and stuff like that. I want to ask you a question. At what point do you become a boxer and not an influencer anymore? Or is there, can you ever leave your past behind? Like is kind of the question.
you know, in response to that, I would say like boxing was dying. And that's because there was hard to get matches. It was hard to put fighters with each other. And the good fighters, they want a ton of money, and these smaller promotions don't have, or these promotions were going out of business, or just shady things were happening throughout the companies. Now look at it. Like we're filling stadiums, we're streaming, and bringing the younger generation forward. And more, even though we're influencers, we're still boxers, and the ones that are winning and proving ourselves, that just creates a bridge. It creates more opponents, it creates better views, it sells tickets. And not even that, it's just like we're just climbing the ranks, just trying
Right.
to make this more popular. And yeah, so but your question was
Just like what I don't like is that when I see someone like Elle Brooke, right? Whatever her past is or was or whatever she does on the side, the fact of the matter is she is a boxer. Like she's training enough to be able to say she's a boxer. So I always feel a little bit weird when people are like, "Oh, that's just an influencer," or "That's just an influencer boxer." And I'm like, "Okay, but that chick could kill you." Like, and I'm talking to my friends that are guys, I'm like, I'm pretty sure Elle would murder you in the boxing ring. You know what I mean? Like, these people are training legit. So, like, at what point, like, if you used to work at Walmart growing up and then you become a lawyer, people don't go, "Oh, that's the Walmart lawyer." No, like, you're a lawyer. Like, you transition into something different. Do you feel like it's weird when people might refer to some of these people that have proven themselves time and time again as kind of like disparagingly, like, "Oh, that's just an influencer"?
everybody has their opinion, and that's okay if they look at me as just an influencer. I'll prove myself and show that, just like Ebony Bridges, she used to be a ring girl as well, and then she started boxing, and now she's a professional boxer for Matchroom. And she was undefeated until her last fight, but even then, now she's working with Forged, which is Conor McGregor's
Yep.
stuff, and she's sponsoring fighters. And my goal is to inspire other women to get into boxing, whether it's for fitness or professionally.
Yep.
And I was kind of lost last year. Just like I was a ring girl, but I didn't feel very valuable. I didn't know which direction I wanted to go, and this has completely changed my life. Now I went from being influential to the influence. And I hope that more people, even if you work at Walmart or McDonald's or whatever, like get into boxing.
Yeah.
And it's not, cheap. The training, all this stuff, it costs a lot of money and a lot of time. Like if you have, I have to give up a lot of my time. And like right now, I could be working most valuable prospects this week, and I just can't do it because I have so much going on, and training takes up all my time. And the purse is good for my first fight, but it definitely doesn't cover what I've put into it. So it's an investment
Sure.
for sure. But
Yep.
the community I've created, the fans I've created, and just everything, it's been just so worth it to me. Even my mental and physical appearance it's just like it's been so worth it that, and what we do on the side of modeling and stuff like what Elle does, it's we gotta pay those bills, and it's just like, why not monetize it? Why
Yeah.
not take advantage of this scene, which is real, and put it into our other lives and things that we have going on, our other businesses and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
just, and I do feel bad because I'm sparring with people, not bad, but like I get what they're saying, because I spar with people that have trained their whole lives since they were 8 years old, and they're still on amateurs. Like, I spar with an 18-year-old girl, and she's been training her whole life. She's got her first amateur match, and it does feel a little bit unfair that I get to skip her and go straight to pro, but it just is what it is. I have nothing to do with that. I'm just trying to take advantage of what I have created my whole
Yeah.
life and turn it into something beautiful and inspirational, hopefully.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. And of course, that is one of the arguments that people make, right? Is that these influencers are coming in and taking these spots. Guess what, dude? You weren't going to get that shot. If Amber Fields didn't exist, right? That kid at the gym, at my local gym or whatever, wasn't going to get that shot on Misfits Boxing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this whole avenue has been created because of all the work that you guys do and put in. You know what I mean? So it's weird. Like, I can see where people stand on the line, and depending on the day, if you look at my Instagram, Amber, sometimes I'm going to be yelling at you, and sometimes I'll be on your side. So it depends. It depends on how I feel. But what do you say? Because I'm a commentator for Fight League Atlantic out in the East Coast Canada. It's an MMA and a BJJ organization. There's young fighters out there, and sometimes when I'm looking at them, their Instagram, it's not happening. Like, there's not a lot going on. How important, you got to tell people, because they're going to listen to you more than they'll listen to me. How important is it for you to brand yourself and put out some sort of stuff into the world, into the ether, on your Instagram, on your whatever, to kind of build?
Yeah, it is crazy that people look at my following and it's more important than what's in my bank account, honestly. And it does feel like, but this is just society these days. Like, this is what the world has turned into. We're too far gone, and whatever is the past is the past. But like, if you look at anybody who's getting fights, even not even in the influencer, but just professional, they have followings, they're making noise, they have good social media strategies, they have teams of people. And I try, the girls I work with at least, just to come up with fun concepts, like getting them used to, because there's a learning curve with this, like trying to figure out TikTok, Instagram. And it probably took me about 2 or 3 years to even, I don't even know I'm faking it still, just trying to learn as I go. But just like, it's so important to have that space online, not just in social media, but just online, period. Doing interviews, getting articles written about you. Amanda Serrano, she doesn't have a phone. So she has her team run her social media. So, like, it's just crazy. I don't even know how she does it, but she doesn't have that, but she's still in my opinion, the number one female boxer right now. And so it's just important to have that online presence and continue making content and getting talked about. If you're a boxer, I think it's really important because mainly everything's streamed online. It's not like a TV show on Netflix where you can just like, it shows on Netflix. Like, you have to kind of do it yourself. You got to be a hustler. You got to keep hustling. You got to keep producing content. It's never ending.
It is. It's not. And you're right. Like, I don't like when you say we're too far gone. Like, yeah, this is the world we're in now. So, like, if you want to be like, well, shit, that person's getting that opportunity because they post more on Instagram or whatever, you go post more on Instagram, you idiot. Like, you got to figure this out. This is the world that we're in. And like, every organization from small to large, like, if you've got a following, if you've got people, because that translates to money down the road at some point. You know what I mean? And even the people in UFC, like when we have the UFC fighters on this show, Amber, they talk about the importance of like branding themselves. There's like, they have seminars at the UFC where they talk to them about how to brand themselves, what to do, how to create your social media presence. because it's a big difference. Like if you can get yourself out there and get people talking, that's what happens, right?
Yeah, and for a
But
long time, like it was just so confusing. Brand yourself, and you're just like, how? What does that even mean? You're like, I
yeah,
don't even know. And I really is just continue making content, figuring out how to do it on your own editing. So like I download CapCut. So for people out there, download CapCut. They have templates. I mean, eventually you want to go to Premiere if you have a team of people, but
yeah,
just start looking up TikTok, saving videos you like. Honestly, copy people until you can come up with your own ideas. You do have to
yeah,
kind of be creative, and I understand some people aren't strong in that. So copy me. If you find something you like, save it. Just make it your, just copy it until you can make it your own. Like I'll find something in maybe the skating community and I'm like, oh, that's funny. Maybe I could apply that to my boxing life. And it's not just about content talking. It's about being a personality. And some people are not comfortable with that. So I
yeah.
understand that, but then maybe you just get a team of people, get a videographer, and I know that comes at a cost. So it's just hard. It's a long process of
Yeah.
branding, you know.
Yeah, no, it is. That said, I'm changing my Instagram handle now to Miss Amber Fields 2. And that way I'll suck in some fake followers. Hey, here's the thing too, though. Like, I'm so happy to meet you, Amber, and you're so well spoken. And obviously, I could see that when I was researching you. But like for fighters too, and if you have fighters at your gym that want experience, like speaking on a mic or being interviewed, tell them to hit me up. I'll have them on the podcast anytime, right? Like if you want to promote your local fight or something like that, anything helps, right? It's all, like you said, it's putting in the reps, right?
Yeah.
You got to put it in. I don't want to let you go without talking about the very cool thing that you're doing about your purse, though. And I heard about it, and I know you've said it before, but for the fans, viewers, and listeners of the Fight Insight podcast that didn't hear, tell us about what you're doing about your purse.
Yeah, so I'm donating all the profit from it to go towards the Children's Cancer Center here in Tampa, and also my nephew's foundation, or not a foundation, but fundraiser to help his fight against leukemia. So,
Nice. Yeah,
yeah.
congratulations, Amber. I'm really happy to see that. I think like when people do things like that and to help bring awareness and stuff like that, really kudos to you. That's really lovely. So
Yeah, especially because it's so personal. Like, I'm just happy that I can give back. It's not about, like I said, it's not about the money for me. It's about what boxing does for me mentally, physically, in my community. So like I'm happy to give back, and especially to a cause that I'm so passionate about.
yeah,
He's
no,
4 years old and he's my only nephew, so I am super close with him. We talk every single day.
very nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And what's his name?
Sterling Fields.
Sterling?
Sterling.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a strong name. That's a cool name. Very nice.
It
All right. Well,
is.
Sterling Fields, we're supporting you and cheering for you on as
And
well, my friend.
I'll come over after training or I'll leave, go to training. So like he started picking up on it, and he says that I'm Princess Peach going to fight Birdo. And Birdo is a Mario character with like a big nose. I think maybe
Yeah.
he's overheard us talk about, I don't know, like where we just joke around, and me and like my family and my coach say we're gonna break her beak. Leah's obviously a beautiful girl, but it's just all fun. And
Yeah.
and he says that, so I always joke around with him. I'm like, Auntie's got to go train to fight Birdo. We're playing Super Smash Brothers and Mario Party and all the Mario games right now. So
Nice. Well, that's wonderful. I'm again really proud of you for doing that. That's awesome. Rain, I don't want to keep Amber too long. Is there anything that you wanted to ask her?
Oh yeah, Amber, you've worn so many hats in your career, right? And then you talked about how, you're basically a boss lady. Like the way you talked about what you've done so far in your career. Could you rank maybe your top 3 favorite things that you've done in your career?
yeah, I mean, of course, be working with MVP in this fight. But I think I got Ring Girl of the Year in, was
Ooh.
it 2023? And that was amazing. That was super fun. I'm really proud of my Ring Girl business. It's growing. All the models I have under me, I love just kind of showing them the path of like how the right thing to do, and treat each other with respect. I also like flip houses, and that's like one of my main passions. Yeah, and
God dang.
yeah, so I started when I was 20 years old. My family does it. My whole family is like contractors and all this stuff. So
Wow.
yeah, I bought my first house when I was 20, and that's kind of what makes me be able to focus on this boxing and everything is like I can just make my own schedule and do that. I won when I was younger. I used to do a bunch of pageants, and I won like Miss Wing House, which is like Hooters, and that was like my first big pageant win. I've won a little few of them throughout the year, but that was super cool. It put me on the calendar and like all over the restaurants, and that was really fun. That's kind of what started kind of this whole thing of
That's amazing.
modeling. Is I was working at Wing House, and if you're from Florida, you already know what I'm talking about. It creates us.
Did you ever go back and like sign those calendars? Put your
Yeah,
autograph there.
I was like, wait, I have one right here somewhere, but I don't know if it's at the moment. I like kept one for nostalgia.
Do you leave a Wing House calendar in every house you flip after you sell it? And then there's a little Wing House calendar. Like there's the girl I bought the house from.
That's so funny. No, but I was in Playboy March 2023. I was a Playmate. And
Nice.
I have a ton of those magazines that I would like give out or sign them. And I literally have like a box full. They sent me a box of them. So that was really exciting. And then now they're bringing back the Playmates. And they're starting the magazine back up, the American magazine.
Like a print magazine?
The American.
No, but in print? Like they're going to print it again?
Yep.
Oh,
and we're doing events again. So I'm on the Playboy team, which is exciting. Just because I've always looked up ever since I was young, like I was a teenager, and I used to be like, I want to be a Playboy model, blah blah blah. I know it's crazy to say, but I manifested it.
Yeah, that's great, Amber.
Amazing.
Jeez Louise. Okay, let's change this podcast to a 6-hour podcast so we can go through all your accomplishments. Because I feel like there's got to be stories like at every stage. But geez Louise, though, Rain, like I'm always so impressed with people that are such entrepreneurs, right? People that go out there and kick ass. And so this is the thing too, Amber, when you're doing interviews, aside from this podcast, right? Which you didn't say Fight and Sight was one of your greatest accomplishments, but maybe that was just, you're getting to that one.
It's coming up, cut her off. So
it was close.
Say it.
All right, it's close. Made it to Playboy, Fight and Sight podcast. Like, it's close there.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's the thing though, make sure that you explain that to yourself explain that to people when they're interviewing you and stuff like that. The fact that like you're flipping houses, the fact that you made it into Playboy, the fact that you're doing all these things, beauty queen, doing all these things that you're doing, it's crazy because I think people discredit a lot of the influencer fighters because they go, oh, that's just some pretty girl that just because of her looks, look where she got now. No, man, you're busting your butt, working your butt off, training hard, doing this because you really want to. Don't let people discredit who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody it only motivates me. I grew up in a small town, and of course people talked, and it just made me want it more. People like somebody told me once, one of my ex-friends was like, oh, you can never do fighting or you can never be in WWE, and I was like, bet, watch it. Like, oh. And it just like not that that's it just always sticks in the back of my head. Like somebody says I can't do something, I'm like, watch me. And there's so many people in my life, friends, family, that are so supportive of me and just continue to encourage me. I don't even hear the people that have anything negative to say. Oh, she's just an influencer. I'm like, you must not know me, because anybody around me knows that I'm busting my ass. I'm always making money. I help people make money, or I help people in general. And that's the most important thing to me, is to help people. And like they'll know, like if anybody's like, oh, you're just a dumb bitch, I'm like, first of all, I'm sweet as fuck. And I'm smarter. I'm probably smarter than you and your mama. So
Yeah.
Street smart at least.
Yeah. That's what I mean, both those things that you were just saying, that's what Rain was talking about you before you got here. Just so you know. Like she was saying that. I don't know. Next fight. Rain versus Amber. All right, we're keeping you way longer than what we had intended. And I really appreciate your time. Like seriously, like you're wonderful to talk to. I do hope that you come back to the podcast after, because I want to hear about the experience. I want to hear what you've learned. And after that big win that we'll be cheering you on, I want to see it. I did have a photo here. We didn't get to it, but of course you were at the at the Jake Paul fights. And so here's a couple of photos of you just for people to see. But again, just go to Miss Amber Fields on Instagram. You can see all her content. And there you were there kicking ass with Most Valuable Productions. There's one question that I always ask people on the podcast. I want to ask it to you. It's a question that my mom used to ask me almost every day of my life growing up. So I want to ask it to you. Ms. Amber Fields, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
9.8.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Do you want to explain it at all? What's going on?
I mean, everybody goes through challenges, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like everything's perfect, because obviously we go through things, but just like I said, my support group and everybody, if I ever have those days, everybody has those days. Everybody makes mistakes. No, I'm just kidding. That's all. Okay. No, but mainly, I'm happy with my friendships. I'm happy in myself. I'm happy in my family. Like everything is just, I live in the water. I'm a diver as well. So if I ever have those days, I'm in nature. I'll go, I'm on the water. I'm in the boat. I mean, it's really hard to be sad when Earth is so beautiful. So, yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Too happy, too good of a person, Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Amber, we are cheering for your success. You understand? We want you to kick butt at Misfits Boxing. We want you to go out there and make a splash into that division. Get a knockout. Be mean, Amber. You are way too nice. I'm worried. You got to get mean, get serious. I don't want no smiling, no nothing. Enjoy the moment and soak it all in, because your debut only happens once. Enjoy the moment, enjoy it all. But you've been there before. You've seen the lights. You've been under there. You're used to having the attention put on you. But now you got to go out there and kick some butt and get that big win. All right.
Yeah.
Do that.
I definitely have two sides to me, and it's game face. It's game face. But
yeah.
I will for sure. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Think about those days when you're competing in the Wing House beauty pageants and you had to smack some of those chicks around to win that crown, I'm sure. Right?
Exactly.
So yeah, do what you got to do. All right, Amber, thank you so much for joining the podcast. We really, really appreciate it. Is there anything that you want to say lastly to people watching and seeing you here?
Yeah, so my fight is August 10th with Misfits, against Leah Gotti in Miami. If you're there, come out. You can stream it on DAZN or YouTube. But just cheer me on. I have some merch coming out that you guys can purchase to support, of course. And thank you guys again.
All right. Thank you so much, Amber. It's lovely to have you. Best of luck. Go kick butt and all the things that you do. And we will see you on the podcast again.
All right. Thank you. Let's go, baby.
I like it. See you later.
Amber.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. That is Amber Fields.
Hi again.
She's back.
Hi again. Bye. Thank you.
All right. That was our interview with Ms. Amber Fields. Thank you so much, Ringside Rain, of course, for being there. She's not here with me now as I'm recording and as we get into the Sabah Homasi interview, but that was a crazy one. I can't wait to see what Ms. Amber Fields is able to do. Please make sure that you go follow her and follow that journey, and be sure to check out Misfits Boxing on August 10th. Now, before we go on with our second interview of the day, I want to do some Friends of the Podcast update, as we always do. First up, make sure you go check out RageWorks Podcast Network. That's where you can find other great audio podcasts such as ours. You can find them at rageworksnetwork.com. Next up, FLA 16, Fight League Atlantic 16. You don't want to miss it. Saturday, September 21st in Pictou, Nova Scotia. Get your tickets now. Go to fightleagueatlantic.com. If you can't be there in person, at least buy the pay-per-view. You want to hear this guy doing the commentary, and you want to see some of Canada's most incredible athletes, young athletes, putting everything on the line in an incredible promotion. Fightleagueatlantic.com. Don't miss it. Shout out to some of our former guests. Jade Masson-Wong. She's got her title shot coming up at BKFC. This August 3rd, Saturday, August 3rd in Sturgis, you've got Britton Hart versus Taylor Starling as the main event for the BKFC Strawweight Women's Championship. You don't want to miss that fight. That is crazy. Khalil, the real Pearson, he's a good friend of ours, of course, from Up Next fame. He just fought at Lights Out 18. Congrats to that dude. He had the Fight in Sight logo on his shorts. So thank you very much, my friend. Smilin' Sam Alvey defended his heavyweight karate combat championship. What the hell? That guy's career has taken off ever since leaving the UFC. I'm so happy for that dude. Modestus Bukauskas, Modi B at UFC 304 this past weekend. He gets another victory to go bounce back. Dude, I'm so happy for him in front of that home crowd for him as well. So congratulations to Modi B. All right. Let's get on with the show. Of course, if you're here because of Amber Fields, thank you so much. If you're here because of Sabah Homasi or because you want to figure out about what's happening with Bellator, appreciate it. Follow and subscribe to us as much as you can. Please tell your friends. As I said at the top of the show, it's the way that we grow is by you letting other people know that we exist. So thank you so much for that. Let's get on with it. We're going to go to a welterweight fighter who has had a crazy issue going on with Bellator. You may have heard it before, but I'm going to let him tell you all about it. He's a very cool dude, and I'm wishing him the best. Check out this interview. Leave some comments as to what you think is going on with this. But let me now introduce you to the sleek chic, Mr. Sabah Homasi. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Not bad, buddy. Thank you for joining the show. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me on.
Very, very weird story. I know you were on your Instagram talking about saying that you wanted to get the story out. For those that didn't hear about it, do you mind if you just kind of briefly talk about what we're dealing with here?
Yeah, I mean, long story short, man, after my fight in Dublin, I fractured my orbital in that fight, and turns out I needed to get a plate in my eye. So I needed surgery, put a plate in there and a couple screws, and Bellator informed me to go ahead and pay for the surgery, and they were going to go ahead and reimburse me. Well, here we are, almost a year in, and still haven't been reimbursed.
So it's okay. So this is what I didn't know, because the last we heard about it or saw about it really was maybe about a month ago. Dustin Poirier was on the MMA Hour, a good friend of yours and a training partner out at American Top Team. Right. And he took it upon himself. And I like, what a stand-up dude, man. He took a moment, in his interview to kind of speak out for you and say like, hey, I want to put this out there.
Right.
I thought for sure after that kind of public pressure, you know what I mean? Like for essentially hitting everywhere that they might do something. What happened after that?
So Ariel Helwani went ahead and asked Don Davis, what's going on with that situation. And he went ahead and pointed the finger over to Viacom, which was the previous owners of Bellator. I honestly don't know whose hands it falls into. But when we were in Newark for Dustin's fight, my manager hit me up, or Chris Creech did. And he's like, hey, I'm going to email you a form. Go ahead and fill out that form so they could wire you the money. So I said, okay. I was like, we're moving along here, So I went ahead and I filled out that form, and that was for 2 months ago now.
Yeah.
So 2 months in, I still haven't been reimbursed. My manager, Brian, he's on top of it. He keeps touching base with the guys to see where we're at with the reimbursement. And supposedly it's in the insurance's hands, and, they're going to go ahead and reimburse me. But how much longer? It's been 2 months since I filled out that form, with my banking information so they could wire the money. And still nothing.
That's some total bullshit, man. This is, I mean, it doesn't, I mean, normally it would not take anything like this, right? You've been a fighter for a long time. You've been around, done it all. Strikeforce, UFC, Bellator. Have you ever come across a situation where they need you to fill out the old T4400 before you get your money?
Never in my life have I ever had to. Never have I been through anything like this, and never have I had to fill out these forms and whatnot. It's like, all right, I get it. You want me to give you my routing number and account number so you could send over the money?
Sure.
You have my address. You could mail a check. It's like, whatever. Okay, you want to wire the money? Cool. I'll fill out this form. But here we are 2 months later, and I still haven't been reimbursed. So I don't know, man. I guess it's just a waiting game right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, dude. Okay, I had no idea because we didn't talk about it beforehand. I'm really sorry to hear that it still hasn't, finished up. But like what? That's crazy. Like, you think like if PFL takes over Bellator, essentially what you do is you take over all their accounts. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like whatever they owe, whatever they're responsible for, their leases, their whatever, you take that over. If you speak to Don Davis, it shouldn't be, oh, go talk to another guy. Like you're the guy.
Right. Who else are we going to talk to, But, this is what we've been dealing with. It's kind of we've been dealing with them pointing the finger back and forth at each other.
Do you know if this is happening to any other fighters now?
So from what I know, it is. I don't know to what extent. Like, I don't know how much money they owe, to everybody. But I don't know what the difference is between them is either, because in the past, I've had Bellator say, go ahead and pay for this. We're going to reimburse you. And so I had no issue paying for the surgery,
Right.
But in this situation, I haven't been reimbursed. It was literally like in the past, I'd pay for something, and then within a week, 2 weeks tops, I'd have a check in the mail. Here's a reimbursement. Right. This time around, not so much.
And just so people understand, like, because the thing is, like, when you're on Instagram, like MMA, Twitter, anything like that, people really have no clue, man, like what happens with like medical bills and things like that. The situation you're talking about is injuries that occurred during the course of the fight. And those things are supposed to be covered, right? In most professional leagues, that injury would then be covered?
All of them, all of them. Especially when you're talking about, major promotions. These are the biggest promotions in MMA, and you're coming across problems like this, which is unheard of. I haven't heard about anyone really in MMA that has gone through what I've been going through. So
yeah. And the thing is that, with the dissolution of Bellator, with it flowing into PFL and like everything that's kind of there, it has been kind of a mess. Like we've been detailing it here on this podcast. Like you just had, wasn't it Douglas Lima that was having a bunch of problems? Other fighters have said they've been having problems with Bellator. Our good friend of the show and Sucker Punch, you're with Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch member, the gentleman Josh Hill, he was a bantamweight with Bellator, and then all of a sudden, like he was just kind of gone. Like and they unceremoniously have kind of let some people go. You are no longer with the promotion, correct?
I'm no longer with them. No, man. It's I'm coming off 2 losses. Coming off 2 losses, 2 back-to-back losses, and what I think happened is PFL went ahead and acquired Bellator, and I don't think they knew what they were paying their fighters. They went ahead and made a huge cut. Over 100 fighters got released. And I don't know how they picked them and whatnot, but I think it had to do financial reason why. You take a look at, you buy Bellator, you don't know what these fighters are getting paid. Now you see what these fighters are getting paid, and you're like, oh shit, we don't want to pay these guys, what they're getting paid in Bellator or what Bellator was paying them. So look, I get it, it's a business, and but I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, no, man. Like, look, dude, I hope that everything works out with this issue. I mean, at the very least, you just want to cut even, for God's sakes, right? Like, you're not looking for anything.
That's all I'm doing, just take care of my the debt that I've acquired. I put everything on an American Express. So thank God I put everything on an American Express, because I would have been out however much I paid for the surgery. But now, with the interest and everything, I'm at like $30,000,
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like super messed up, dude. I hope that it all gets worked out for you. Like people don't understand, like you're talking about with the contract thing. And if you don't mind, with fighter contracts, this is another thing that MMA Twitter and Instagram people don't understand is like the contract between the organization and the fighter is really a very much of a one-way contract, right? Like you can sign for a 20 fight deal if that's what you want, but at any time the promotion can just cut it.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed, And that's the shitty thing. When I was in the UFC, I signed a four fight contract in the UFC. My first fight in was on 10 days notice against Tim Means.
Yeah.
That went to shit. I ended up having surgery. I was scheduled to fight Brandon Thatch on UFC 200. I injured myself. I went into surgery. I was out for a year. Came back and fought Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Herb Dean comes in, fucks that up, steps in thinking I was hurt or something, and I'm sitting here working on a single leg, and he steps in, stops the fight. And in the rematch, he got me in the rematch, man. It was my first time I've ever been knocked out in my life, and he got me in that one. And then after that fight, they released me, so it's like, it kind of sucks because, I know how hard I work, and the fighters that I train with, I just wanted give me that one last fight in the contract, let me go ahead and go in and prove myself that I do belong there.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, that's the past. I'm trying to just look forward, not behind me.
Yeah, of course, man. Like, yeah, you always got to stay positive and look on to bigger and better things. What is next for the Sleek Sheik, Sabah Homasi?
Well, we got, I'm going to jump into bare knuckle MMA. We're in the talks with Gamebred FC.
Nice.
So hopefully by the end of the year, I'll be in there. They're about to announce some shows that they're going to have. So between that and bare knuckle boxing, I'm told Brian to go ahead and see if he can get me a contract with BKFC. So either one, if I could bounce back and forth and do both, I'd do that.
Nice, man. I look forward to it, man, because those are like the great promotions, man, that have been popping up. But the thing is that you don't say ONE FC at all. Is that like zero on the radar? Is that organization just a disaster too?
Man, I have some teammates with ONE FC that are going through a hard time with them, so I don't think I'd want to do one, but just based off of what I hear. And plus, they went ahead and said that they wouldn't sign any fighters come from the UFC or Bellator or any major organization. They don't want to sign fighters that come from them, so it's like.
No, wait, hold on. I have not heard that at all. Is that like a public thing?
I saw it online, actually. I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw it online.
It's very strange because like that organization, I don't know what's happening, dude, but that organization publicly has said that they were losing money.
ONE FC.
And that, yeah, like they were always recording like record losses. And then all of a sudden, it was at the beginning of this year, there was a report that said that their backers were going to start pulling out at the end of this year. So we're like, well, shit, if these guys can't hurry up and figure out how to start making money, which if you weren't for the last 10 years, I don't know how you're going to do it now, then It's kind of like problematic. And then like, I swear, like just a few weeks ago, right around the time when it seems like the investors would be gone, the owner Shatri announces that they're making profit for the first time ever. And you're like, what have you been doing that suddenly turned a profit after years of not?
Right.
So I don't know, dude.
If you're in a hole, how did you get out of that hole,
Exactly. Yeah, without doing anything like spectacular. You know what I mean?
Unless they got like new investors or something, but that doesn't count for the money lost,
No, exactly. Yeah, then at that point you're just running like a pyramid scheme, right? Like you're just like taking a loss and then getting someone else to cover the loss for the next one. Right. Eventually it catches up to you,
Yeah, who knows, man? I don't know,
Yeah, like the opportunities and that's why like I'm glad that you're saying the bare knuckle and the Gamebred, right? The bare knuckle MMA. But like in reality, man, like is it a little bit strange now? Like with Bellator being gone, there really is like a hole in the market, no? Like there's not that many.
There definitely is. It's not really many big organizations that fighters can go to now. You know, it's like you got ONE FC, PFL, which who knows how long they're going to be operating the Bellator side, and UFC. You know, what else is out there?
There's like kind of like the next step down with some other organizations. There are organizations around, but it's like, what is their financial status? What are they able to pay for people to actually truly make a living? Right. There was, I don't know. It's just a strange thing, man. Can I ask you what you thought about Dana White saying goodbye to Mohammed Makayev? Just in terms of contracts, did you see the story about that?
Didn't he like sucker punched his opponent?
Sucker punched his opponent, apparently, like behind the scenes at the hotel.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Then a lot of warm up into their fight, like a lot of bad blood. It looks like it's going to be hot, and then the fight is a dud. And then at the end of it, Dana White goes and publicly says that they're really not going to re-sign the dude. But then he alludes to other issues. Like he doesn't say like, oh, this fight was so bad, I'm going to get rid of this guy. But he talks about, other things, you know, and everybody's like, kind of like, well, what the hell are other things? It can't just be punching a guy in the hotel. Right. And I just wanted to ask you, like, you know, like as a fighter, how much of your personal behavior, like behind the scenes, do you think can get you in trouble with a contract?
I'm sure they don't want guys running around acting like idiots, you know, because imagine if there was no disciplinary actions on, you know, what he did. Now you got fighters going around sucker punching people left and right, you know, and doing things out of the norm just to get some attention. So maybe that's why maybe he doesn't want to come out and say, oh, I released him, you know, for sucker punching him. He's just going, there's other reasons, you know. At the end of the day, I don't know. That's his decision, and I'm assuming that sucker punching him maybe had something to do with it.
But it's kind of like, but if you were going to do that and you were going to set the line, you know what I mean? Like if you're the organization, you're like, yo, we got to draw a line in the sand here. And we're going to say, you can't be punching people in the fighter hotel.
Right.
If that's why you want to do it, and again, that's why I asked you before, like the organization always has the authority to cut the contract whenever you want. And I think it seems like for whatever reason. So like if you wanted to say, hey guys, no more punching people in the fighter hotel, then wouldn't you say that out loud so that everybody else goes, oh shit, okay, I don't want to lose my contract here.
Well, maybe everyone got the point, you know.
Yeah, without saying it.
Right, pretty much. I mean, do they have to say anything? Really, you know, but who's to say? Maybe that wasn't it. Maybe there are other reasons. You truly don't know.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's like maybe it's like, okay, maybe don't cut him. You know, maybe fine him or have other disciplines out there. You know, but releasing a fighter, why?
Yeah.
You know, why are you going to drop him?
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. What about, you know, we talked about Dustin Poirier being a good friend of yours, right? And I really appreciate the way that he spoke up for you, like I said before. When you have those kind of friendships in the gym, have any friendships ever gone sour in the sense of this one that I'm going to put on the screen, which is good old Sean Strickland and Curtis Action Man? Did you hear what happened with these two guys?
I did not.
You don't know?
No.
So apparently they've broken up. They are no longer friends. And Curtis starts to go. What's Curtis's last name? God dang, I can't. Action Man. Chris Curtis.
Chris Curtis, yeah.
Right?
Yep,
So Chris Curtis posts on Instagram that they are no longer friends or something like that. And then Sean Strickland starts posting on his Twitter. I'm putting it up here. Me and Kurt aren't friends anymore. Come back, Kurt. I'll be nicer. And then they've been going like kind of like on Twitter. Both of them have been posting about like that they're just not friends anymore. Chris Curtis is trying to stay pretty polite and saying, I don't want to talk about it. Sean Strickland is saying, hey, you know, we tried to, he wanted me to drill with him. I just wanted to spar. Then he turned into a bitch, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know how Sean is.
Yeah.
And like his apologies are like very backhanded because they keep calling him names while he's apologizing. Right. But have you ever seen a scenario, man, where like like people in the gym just slowly are not working together anymore, and you're just like, yo, I cannot deal with this anymore?
I mean, I've seen some scenarios in the gym. Sure. I mean, I've never experienced something like that, because I'm very respectful with my teammates. It's of course I have buddies that we joke around with and stuff like that, but it never ruins a friendship or anything, or even. Yeah, no, I can't say that I've had anything like that in the gym. And I've been at American Top Team since 2008, so
Yeah.
been there a long time, and pretty much the relationships I've built with guys I still have. It's not, I'm super close with the people that are in my circle.
Right. No, that's good for you, man, because look, some of those things are really messed up and weird. That's what's going on. But yeah, man, like I really appreciate you coming on the show. I really just wanted to ask you about the scenario. I was really hoping that there was some sort of finality to it more than that you're just filling out the form. But I mean, I really do hope that this all freaking gets settled for you, man.
You and I both. So hopefully it gets resolved soon, man. And once it does, I'll let people know.
Once it does, you signing back with Bellator again, or are you like, yo, that ship has sailed? I'm not going to risk this crap
anymore.
I
don't know. I can't. I don't know. I can't. Speak that far. I don't know. As of right now, like I said, we're most likely going to be signing with Gamebred FC and hopefully BKFC as well. And I could jump back and forth between both, but we'll see what happens. Just one thing at a time right now. And honestly, man, I'm just excited to get back in the cage and fight. It's been September will be a year since I last fought.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Too long, my friend. Too long for the sleek chic to be sitting down. Right. We got to get you in there for some action, man. Thank you so much for joining the podcast, my friend. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. Just know that there are people out there, man, that are freaking rooting for you and that they are cheering for you and that they're really pissed off with this scenario for you and hoping that everything sorts out.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everyone. Everyone's great, especially the fans that have been supporting me for years and stuff like that. So it's all good.
Definitely, man. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sleek Chic. Have a good one, my friend.
Thanks, you too.
See ya. Bye-bye. All right, guys, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Two great interviews, Mr. Sabah Homasi and Ms. Amber Fields. We wish you all the best in everything that you do. Guys, next week on the podcast, Mr. Trevor Wells, a MMA fighter of much renown. We can't wait to talk to him. He next competes at Melee 3 on August 24th. You've seen him on The Ultimate Fighter. You've seen him at Ringside Reigns UNF Up Next Fighting. He's a fighter out there as well. He also trains with good friend Matt Queso Padilla. You can often see him on Queso's stories. Normally Queso's kind of poking fun at him or he's poking fun at Queso. I don't know how it goes, but we will meet him next week. See you guys.